Hi, I'm standing in Brasenose Lane, very close to the covered market, and I'm going to go in there now. I've got a friend who finds walking difficult, so I look after her a bit and do shopping and so on. And yesterday she asked me to buy some sliced beef, so I thought, okay, I'll go to a butcher. And there's a butcher in the covered market there, so I'll go to that. And I don't go to butchers very often because I don't eat much meat myself. And I was quite surprised to find that the butcher was closed at 3 o'clock. But then they explained to me that the covered market is dying. Very few people other than tourists, very few customers come to the market after 3, and so it's not worth their while staying open. I know that quite a few people watching my channel have moved away from Oxford and like to keep up with it through the channel, so they might be interested to see this change. Cake shop is closed. M. Feller and Daughter, that's one of the well-known butchers. They're closed. That's that's still called David John Butcher, and he's the one that I wanted. He normally has sliced cold beef somewhere on his display there. But as you can see, he's completely shut. So apart from some rather charming rabbits and pigs and such like, there's not much of interest. So we have one closed butcher and we have a closed cake shop. And we have another closed butcher. And we have a closed vegetable stall. Now, I used to use this one quite a lot, but it's not always convenient for me to get to them in the middle of the day, especially if I'm recording a video, so they don't get much more of my customers, sadly. And one stall that is still open, but only until 4 o'clock it turns out, is the cheese stall here. Okay, so he says it's okay for me to video his stall. This is the Oxford Cheese Company, and he's open summer at those times, so closing either 4 or 5. Closing 4 today, and he's got a wonderful display of cheeses, and I was initially attracted by a manchego, which was a very noticeable red colour, and it turns out that that's chili. So I'm going to show you that. I'm not a cheese expert, so I can't say much about the cheeses, but I'll just show you some of them through the glass counter and hope that the glare isn't too bad, because I think this is a stall that's very well worth patronising, very well worth coming to. So I'm just going to video these. I might be able to zoom in on some, but it will be a random selection because I'm not an expert. My own preference in cheese, he does have ones that I particularly like. I lived in Portugal for a time, and I like the hard goat and sheep cheeses from south of Lisbon.
And I want to do a small cheesecake, like 3 cheese together.
Right.
For tomorrow.
Right.
Only for 6 people, so it's very small.
Okay.
For advice.
Okay, and do you know what sort of things you want to include in there in terms of, do you want a blue, do you want soft, do you want hard, do you want goats?
Maybe a goat at least, and a hard, and the other one can play around, depends what machine
So
goes with.
hard is going to be a bit more difficult. It depends on how much you're looking. You said 6 people.
That red one is the Manchego. That's the one that's got a lot of chili in it,
What are they?
in the centre of the picture.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's going to be a cut piece or something.
Yeah,
Because I don't have a small round or something. Well, that's going to work for you.
I'm thinking if it's got a cut one, like that shape, I could do that.
So there's a lot there, and there's a lot of interesting things to try.
Or can I put it down like this way?
I want to avoid getting one of the customers in the view.
They're going to be triangles of whatever we cut. So
Yeah.
depending on what else you want to put onto it.
I don't know, Jenna, so you don't
So
know
that's a
because the
selection.
disease, you don't know what's in
Thanks very much. So that's a selection from his stall, and as I said, there is stuff there that I particularly like. I lived in Portugal, and I like the so-called artisanal cheeses, the little goat and sheep cheeses, particularly from the south of the country, between Lisbon and the Algarve. But there's loads of other interesting stuff in Portugal, and there's loads of other interesting stuff there too. But he's going to close at 4 today, which sort of backs up what I said about the change in the market. And it seems that this started with COVID, that obviously people stopped coming to the market during the lockdowns because they had to stay inside. But after that, footfall didn't really recover, and a lot of the grocery type shops found it just not worth their while staying open after 3, particularly since they get up very early anyway. The butcher said that he starts work around about 4:30, so it's a horrendously long day if he stays open after 3, though to be fair, he must have managed it before COVID. Anyway, that's one newish thing about the market, the reduced opening hours. Let's have a look at some of the shops just to get an impression of what's in there. Taste of China. Sandwich Company. Gents Outfitters. I'll walk down one of the aisles. And one new thing is cafes or bars that sell beer. That used to be something that definitely did not happen in the covered market. All the shops sold stuff that you would take away and eat, drink, or possibly not eat or drink at all, but wear or give as gifts or whatever. But again, since COVID, there are at least 2 what I think are somewhat derisively called husband crèches. The idea being that the women go and deposit their husbands next to a convenient stock of beer bottles and then get on with the serious business of shopping. And I'll show you one in a minute. That topic came up while I was talking to the cheese stall owner, earlier because I said to him, having bought my cheeses, that it would be very nice to eat them with a bottle of beer. But surely the bar owner would object if I brought them in and ate them there while drinking. And the cheese stall guy said, no, lots of people do it. And the bar owner encourages it because it encourages people to buy his beer.
My kids to sell fishes, vegetables and stuff.
I know people who set drawing this roof as an art exercise. Phone shops, of course, and phone repair shops are another newish feature. Jewellery. The space store.
When you look at all of this shit, oh, it was what this was really she lied to
And I think the standard of decoration of the stalls or the shops has gone up in recent years, but I'm not sure about the number of customers. It's undeniably attractive here. Nice patterns made by the mounts. One problem with the market in the winter is that there's heating in some of the stalls, but there's none, as far as I know, in the building itself, so it can get rather cold and damp. And not very pleasant. This is Oxford's own cafe, Taylor's. Ben's Cookies. According to a friend of mine, an American YouTuber made a YouTube that got about 100,000 views, where he was just buying Ben's Cookies from here and eating them one by one and comparing the tastes of each one. He probably came out a lot bigger than he went in, but if anybody feels like doing that for me, I'd be very pleased. I think if I were doing that, I wouldn't choose Ben's Cookies. No offence to Ben, who I'm sure is a very nice guy, but since I love cheese, I think I would try every cheese in the Oxford Cheese Company and compare them. I'm not sure that would be terribly good for me, actually. Be lovely though. It's nice to see that one can still get knitting supplies. Sorry. Okay. The obligatory souvenirs, and aren't they really, really boringly coloured? Look at those sweatshirts. They're all black and white and even particularly pleasant colours. I don't think the dye quality is very good. They're not intense. You could have a lovely blue indigo there, which would be almost the same colour scheme, so it match other things, but it would be so much more attractive. And those are really, they're not only washed out, but they're sort of low points on the colour scale. They're where you don't want your attention to rest. Some people just don't have much idea about colour.
You grab the intelligence, but you're doing the same thing.
This is one that, in one or other of its branches, almost everybody in Oxford probably visits at some time to get copies of keys made. I'm fairly sure that's Andrew Many. Just lose yourself in it for a moment. This is a horrible pun, Gulp Fiction, Pulp Fiction, and it's one of the bars that I mentioned. Now, there is a staircase down there, and I have actually been down it on Ascension Day. in, I think it was early June, I videoed beating the bounds, which is a ceremony that still happens in several parishes in Britain. And of course, if a ceremony like that is going to happen anywhere, it will happen in Oxford. And it does happen in Oxford. It starts at about 10 o'clock and continues till about 12, and then has some odd stuff stuck on the end, like throwing hot pennies to the choir boys in the quadrangle of Lincoln College, only they don't heat the pennies anymore for health and safety reasons. But amongst other things, you walk round the parish boundaries and you beat all the parish boundary markers. Originally this was a way of checking that they'd not been moved or tampered with, and of instructing younger members of the congregation where they were for the future. And one of the parish markers, at least, is somewhere below me, and to get to it you have to go down there, and then you walk along some twisty passages, and eventually you come to a blank wall, and I think it is on that wall. I can't remember now. It's mentioned in John Morris's book, or Jan Morris's book, She Changed Sex, Oxford, where she says that the passage ends with a stack of bananas up against the wall. When I went down there, it was dungeon-like and a bit dank and full of refrigerators blasting out air into the surroundings, and these were used by the butchers, and the smell was rather horrific. That much meat in one place makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. Sadly, they don't allow the bounds beaters to go down there anymore, but they should. And this is the original husband crèche. Or maybe, I don't know whether it's actually two different stalls. I think it might be. I think that's pizza and that's beer. So this is the original husband crèche. And if I wanted, I could go and have a glass of beer and eat my cheese here and enjoy both. And I think I might try that. Hi, well, I cut there. I didn't want to disturb people while I was talking to the person behind the bar. The stall is called Teardrop, and it's run by Church Hanbrewery. And if that sparks memory of a certain village, it should. Church Hanbrewery is a village not that far from here. It's near enough that I have walked to it from Oxford. And it must be a lovely place to have a brewery. And the brewer has a range of beers, and I'll go in and show you some of the labels in a minute. And she said that she does indeed, as the cheese stall owner said, she does indeed encourage customers to come in and drink their beer while eating things they've bought from the market. And these don't have to just be cheese. They can be anything within reason, because after all, we have to help each other. Don't bring a McDonald's in though, that's not really the point. So I'm now standing in Market Street outside the market, but I'm going to go back in, and then I'm going to video some of the lovely things for sale in Teardrop. So there you are, Teardrop by Church Hanbrewery. these are what are on at the moment, today's beers. And they do cider and other drinks as well, but beer is the main thing. And I'm going for the special brew, the sour. I might try a black lager next, because that sounds... No, sorry, I'm going for the ALX. I might try a black lager next. Oh no, that's what I want. Beer festival in a box. No, you can't get better than that. In fact, they've got snacks if people do feel peckish. See some proper old-fashioned barkeeping there with the barrels.
So where did you go? Yeah, we did that. That was really, yeah, we stopped there. That was really good.
Now, as I say, Church Hanbrewery is indeed local. It's local enough that you can walk to it from Oxford, and I have. No. Oh, I like the cats. Now that's interesting. You say very local gins, rum and vodka.
Yeah, so this is Benton, this is Abingdon,
Right.
I used to have the Toad distillery
Oh.
before, but then because they
didn't-
stopped producing.
I didn't
This
know.
is mead from Wantage.
Oh, right. That's
yeah.
very interesting. I didn't know about these.
Yeah.
And the mead, Wantage, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks. Yeah, Wantage is how far? 26 miles?
No, I don't think it's that far, is it? I think it's a little bit
It's a market town not very far from Oxford. And Abingdon, I think everybody knows. Oh, that's great, actually.
So my cider is from Chalgrove.
The cider's from Chalgrove.
It says Wantage is like 17 miles, 18
Right.
miles
Okay.
from, yeah.
Thanks very much.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
So, yeah, this makes me very happy. Support local business. When you can get not only beer from a place nearby, but also things like vodka. That's great. So the covered market, I think it's fair to say maybe the covered market is dying in some ways, but it's doing some new and interesting things in other ways. So I am now sitting in Market Street facing Cornmarket, and I can just hear the music of one of our buskers. There's a chap called Johnny Hinks who used to busk a lot. He doesn't busk very much anymore, but there's a younger person who looks very much like he would have about 20 years ago, and I'm pretty sure that's his music. It's the same sort of easy listening. Another change in the covered market is that it's now open in the evening on some days. Open late, Thursday to Saturday until 10 p.m. And I presume that the bars are part of that. Okay, well this video is a little bit bitty. To be fair, some of mine are because I cut to avoid people who don't want to be videoed or who've accidentally got in the way, or just while I ferret around in my bag for things. And this is the bag that I bought 2 cheeses in from the Oxford Cheese Company. And that is one of them. That's the chili manchego. He warned me very definitively that it's oily and to be careful. He keeps a cloth for people to wipe their hands on so they don't stain their jackets. And I don't want to stain my jacket because who would want to stain that? It's far too good. Just enjoy the colours, because most people don't wear collars like that. Most people wear horrible colours like that. And I always thought the countries from which those people came had rather nicer clothing traditions, but maybe they don't. Anyway, those are the cheeses, and I'm very tempted to eat them with this beer, but I don't think I will, because it would be a real faff to unwrap them and then wipe oil off me and wrap them up again and thing. But let's just say that Oxford certainly has its disappointments, potholes and all the rest of the dereliction, but it also has a lot of very good stuff. And I'm sure that's partly because there are people from the university elsewhere who are appreciative enough that shops who sell it can build up good custom and thereby keep going. So everybody, please support the covered market. Support the buskers too as you go past. Give them some money, but support the covered market and buy their cheeses and drink their beer and so on. And I'll see you next time.